Welcome to Maximal Being, a GI doc and ICU nurse that break down the science so you can exceed your gut health, nutrition, and fitness goals. So, let's smash the broscience and optimizing your health with your hosts, Doc Mock and RN Graham.
Hello, Maximal Beings. This is RN Graham. I'm joined today by our usual Doc Mock, Sherif Ultrafit, and a good personal friend and brother-in-law, even St. Juste, aka Bob. So on today's podcast, we'll be talking about gyms in the land of COVID. So let's get started. Send it over to Doc Mock.
What's going on, Maximal Beings? It's Doc Mock here. I'm an advanced endoscopist. That's a fancy GI doctor. I specialize in cancer. We do a lot of procedures that are non-invasive to get rid of and cure cancer, but I also specialize in gut health and nutrition. I practice out of Cleveland, Ohio, originally from New York City, and I'm going to turn it over to Sherif Ultrafit.
What's up, Maximal Beings? My name is Sherif Ultrafit. I am a National Academy Sports Medicine personal trainer. I've been a trainer for about 8 years now, and I'm now part of the Maximal Being team. Glad to be here with you guys. Bob?
Maximal Beings, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. I don't have as much of the medical credentials as a lot of these guys on the call already, but I'm Bob St. Juste. I actually work in pharmaceuticals. I'm in the tech sector, but I do have a pretty extensive fitness background, and because of that, I feel like I have a couple of good tidbits that I can provide for today's podcast. So I appreciate you guys having me. Thanks a lot. Hey, over to Richard.
And of course, I am RN Graham. I am an ICU nurse down here in the COVID capital of the world, South Florida. So, of course, like I stated before, today's podcast actually is a little bit on the serious tip because, a lot of us are starting to go back to the gym. A lot of us have gone back to the gym and decided they don't want to be there anymore. And it's all because of everything that's going on today, everything with COVID. So, like I said, we're going to be up to our usual antics, but it's going to be a little bit more of a serious topic because it's a serious topic, Do we go back to the gyms? Do we stay home? Do we build our own home gym? Do we opt for, one-on-one fitness training from someone like Sherif Ultrafit? So, we're all going to kind of tell a tale about what we're doing with everything that's going on. So I'll start off by saying that I'm not going back to the gym. I initially did go back, and I just didn't like the way things were, especially for me down here in South Florida with the numbers ramping up. I felt that it was in the best interest of myself and my family to stay home. We do have a decent gym here in our apartment complex, so I'm going to try to use that, and I'm going to try to get back to working out at home. So, that's me on my end. What about you, Doc Mock?
Yeah, so I belong to an amazing gym here in Ohio and love the gym culture. It's a nurturing culture. There's nobody pushing people out of the way to get to equipment. People wipe down equipment pretty regularly. I felt safe there 100%, and I still would going back. But for me, the gym is a place where you can kind of release a lot of those daily tensions and de-stress. Being in the medical world right now, I took care of a COVID patient yesterday. And when you're doing that, you wear full gown, full garb. You wear this mask called an N95. I'm sure a lot of you out there are now familiar with it. But the entire day, it just feels like somebody is smushing your face. Imagine somebody smushing your face for 9 hours. The last thing you want to do when you get home is have somebody smushing your face while you're trying to de-stress. And so for me, I'm not as concerned about the safety of the equipment or being, sterile. I'm more concerned about, for me, the mental release. And so, we are Rogue ambassadors here at Maximal Being. We work with Rogue, and I was able to snatch up a barbell set. And for me, as long as I have a barbell set, I'm happy. So we're not going back. Back to
Awesome.
You. Yep.
Well,
sure.
I personally,
Hold on, can I introduce you, bro? Come on,
yes,
man.
go ahead, please.
So, The local expert in our group here when it comes to gyms would probably be Sherif Ultrafit. I mean, the guy's a trainer. He's in the gym every single day. I mean, for hours. He's training people. How do you feel that, you know, the transition is going as people are coming back into the gym? And how comfortable do you feel training people inside the gym?
All right, that's a loaded question. Honestly, as far as people coming back, I feel like it's 50-50. Some people came back, some people are still hesitant and scared of the environment and the cleanliness. So as far as that, I would say it's about a 50-50 split. Me personally, I don't train my clients in a box gym as like an LA Fitness or a Powerhouse due to the cleanliness and people abiding to the 6 feet apart or wiping down their equipment after. Not everybody's following that, and I'm not going to go after every person. Make sure they're wiped down their equipment so I don't get COVID and expose my clients to all that. So as far as clients, I train them in a personal private gym, one-on-one, where there's no one else. Me personally, I need the gym, kind of like Doc Mock said, it's a stress relief for me. So I get there. I try to be as careful as possible. I keep my distance. I wipe down all my equipment and my dumbbells as I touch them. And after I touch them, I try not to touch my face. Honestly, I don't spend as much time as I used to in there. I'm in and out in like 45 minutes, an hour max. I try to avoid big populated areas and do my own thing. I'm able to do that. I don't have to go to a machine to do an exercise. I can just create my own exercise with free weights. So me personally, I try to be there, but very minimal.
Okay.
And gyms are dirty as they are, you know, even before COVID, and now they're even dirtier, you know. So as much as they keep you, go ahead.
I got a question for you. Are they dirtier now or were they dirtier before? Because, I mean, when I was going, these people are out there cleaning. I have never seen people clean the gym as much as I have now. But we will touch on, we're going to touch on that subject in a second because I know you got a lot to say about that, about how dirty gyms were before. Let's get over to Bob over here. Bob, you know, you're the average Joe, I guess, in this. He's not average by any means, people. This guy is strong as all hell.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he out squats me, he out benches me, he can do more push-ups than all of us probably here combined. So he's not average.
You've seen it.
I've seen him. But you know, you have decided that you're not going back. Why?
Yep, and to echo a lot of what you guys have already said, I think honestly, I was in I had the box gym thing going on. Box gyms are petri dishes as it is. So prior to me even prior to COVID, I was a little bit skeevish about them in the first place. I actually had started doing CrossFit for some time, so CrossFit was working out great. Loved it. Loved the camaraderie. It was a different type of workout. You know, I was going to just a regular, what was it, a retro fitness in the city. So in Philly, you know, you have the 5 o'clock is the bro time. So everybody's trying to get on the bench and everybody's trying to, like, you have the entire crowd of people trying to get on the bench at 5 o'clock. So, you know, moving over to CrossFit, just I can get my workout in, get done, and have a whole, you know, full body workout. Only problem with those is CrossFit boxes are also hot boxes, you know, and especially in the summertime. It's sweaty, it's warm, it's gross, and now COVID. So luckily, I found myself fortunate enough. We just moved out of the city, moved to a place in South Jersey. I do have room now that I was able to just put together a couple of things for my own home gym. But actually, just to be honest, prior to COVID, I wasn't in the mood to head back. I don't think I was going to be at least doing the box gym thing. Possibly keep going with the CrossFit, just because, like I said, the camaraderie of it was pretty great. But at this point, not going back.
Yeah, Bob, you touched on a really interesting point. It's why do people actually go to the gym? So, you know, we all think consciously that we're going to make ourselves better, make ourselves fitter. But Forbes magazine at the end of 2019, before COVID hit, did a study where they looked at people and asked them why they go to the gym. And the top reason was the community aspect. And technology is driving a lot of the way that our gym and our exercise forum is moving and allowing people to exercise at a safe distance. But what we're lacking in that environment is the community aspect, which I think a lot of the gyms did offer.
So it's interesting that you say that, because in general, we are social creatures. We want to talk to the person next to us. We want to, in fact, a lot of times work out with the person next to us. A lot of the workouts that I've learned, I've learned from working out with you, Schaefer, or working out with you, Sherif, or working out with you, Bob. And the thing about it is, when, like you said, part of the big thing about the gym is the camaraderie. So it's almost counterproductive to head to the gym and just stay in your little box and not talk to somebody, or not say, hey man, you mind if I work in with you, or can I get a spot? You can't spot somebody and be 6 feet away. I mean,
and
it's just not gonna work.
You gotta have gadget arms.
And in addition to that, Richard, I actually think that there's also, especially when you're lifting weights, I think there's a level of competition in there. When you see, a pretty good sized guy, jack guy, or whatever the case may be, whatever your fitness goal, you see somebody who looks like your fitness goal, you want to see what they're doing so you can learn from, those specific moves. You can go and then you can go, talk to them, ask them questions, wherever the case may be, but it does give you some goal, like, visual goals of what you're trying, of what you want to be. So lacking that at home, you don't get that same sort of extra kick or motivation that that you would, in a big gym.
Exactly. And I totally 100% agree with you on that. So Sherif Ultrafit brought up a very interesting point about, have gyms ever really been clean?
Yeah, right. Do you want to lead us off, Sherif?
Gyms have not been clean. Obviously, I hate to break it down to you, but people sweat, and prior to COVID, I don't think anyone really wiped down their benches, right? You didn't see people. All right, maybe two,
maybe us.
2 to 10% of people that go to box gyms, people that just go, and first of all, most people go there to hang out, right? To just socialize and talk and stuff. So those people do not wipe down there. They don't take their weights back and to rack them up. They just leave everything where it was and move on to the next person, talk to, do a couple of sets. So prior to COVID, no, gyms were dirty as it is. You get so much staff, locker rooms, saunas, all that stuff. People don't take care of their hygiene. They don't care because it's not their home. And I feel like if they don't care at the gym, they probably don't care at home either. So prior to COVID, no, it was horrible. And now it's even 10 times as bad.
Yeah, there are data to actually kind of impact these sentiments, and one of which is in 2014, they did a study where they cultured bacteria off of all the different gym surfaces, and the different species that they found, were, a lot of them were non-pathogenic. They were Actinobacter and Firmicutes. Do you guys know where Actinobacter and Firmicutes live?
At my house.
Yeah, all right, Graham just said it.
I know where it's from.
Yeah. Your gut?
Yeah, they live in your gut.
All right.
And if they live in your gut and they're finding their way onto the bench. Okay.
It's not like this.
not a good combination of fluids. On the other side, years ago when MRSA bacteria, which is a special type of staph grows on all of our skin, right? It's on there right now. It's protective. It helps us prevent infection. Your skin is the #1 biggest immune organ in your body. But when it mutates and develops resistance to different types of antibiotics called methicillin-resistant staph, or MRSA, which is present in at least 15% of the population, and Aaron, Graham, and I probably both have it on our skin right now, just given the fact that we live in the healthcare environment. It's not harmful, but when it gets places outside of the skin, it is very harmful. And they cultured surfaces in gyms and found 90% of surfaces in gyms grew MRSA, but they were only able to culture about 40%. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it's strong enough to be able to grow into cultures. And then the other question. Oh, go ahead, Bob.
I'm sorry, that was just a question. So when you say culture into something else, Could you mind just explaining for the layperson?
Yeah. So when you swab a surface and are looking for a bacteria, if the bacteria is strong, it will grow on a petri dish. You're able to grow it out of those single cells that you get off of a surface. But if it's not strong enough, if it's not a real particularly virulent type of bacteria that can potentially cause you harm, then it won't grow on that petri dish necessarily. So about 40% of surfaces have this MRSA in gyms. And the next question is, do you think that foot surfaces or hand surfaces are grosser? Meaning, are weights grosser or the stuff that people are tramping their dirty shoes on?
My thoughts are dirty shoes.
You would be incorrect.
Really?
Yep.
It's hands?
It's definitely hands. I mean,
People need to
think
wash their
about it.
hands, man.
People don't wash their hands. You know, they're working out, they're wiping their face. I mean, I've literally seen people in the gym digging their nose and then go for a walk. I mean, it's funny, but it's pretty disgusting. I mean,
Oh yeah.
What gym are you going to?
you know exactly what gym I'm going to. So, but you know, people don't really think twice when they do a lot of things. I mean, honestly, you're in a gym, you're sweating. Even if you're going to go, how often are you seeing people go over to the hand sanitizer machine and sanitizing their hands, much yet going into a bathroom and washing your hands between sets? It's not going to happen. So I'm touching this bar. I go and I touch this dumbbell. I go and do some pull-ups. Guess what? Anything that's been on my hand the last 3 workouts is now on everybody else's hand that has touched this. And to begin with, before, I'm sorry, Doc Mark, but I just want to finish this point. Before, people weren't cleaning the gyms like they are today. So.
Yeah, medicine balls are the grossest surface. About 2/3 of medicine balls cultured in a different study were positive. CrossFit boxes, also 2/3. And then about half of weight sets, as well as treadmill handlebars, grew some sort of pathogenic type of bacteria. That's a study from 2019.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I mean, moist environment, you're applying, you know, whatever's on your hand, whatever bacteria on your hand is now on something that is moist, it's going to grow. It's warm, it's going to grow.
It's just a bit of a sad irony that you're going to a gym or fitness center to make yourself healthy. Meanwhile, you could possibly, you're exposing yourself to more things to make you sick. So that's scary stuff.
Listen, for all those people out there, wash your hands before you leave the gym. Take a stop to the bathroom and wash your hands.
Please.
Please do.
Or just don't go to the gym. Work out at home.
Or just work out with Sherif Ultrafit.
That was the next thing I was going to go to with that. So I was talking to Doc Mark earlier, and he had some interesting information about, you know, the difference between these bigger gyms and these smaller gyms. So do you want to go over that, Doc Mark?
Yeah, so economically speaking, you know, the gym industry is a $97 billion a year industry, and they see growth every year. Yeah, and that's about 41,000 gyms throughout the entire world. Those numbers grow by about 5% every single year in terms of number of gyms, and the number of people that serve those gyms is increasing exponentially. Forbes, in that same study, you know, before COVID, they were looking at trends, and they talked about technology kind of leading the way. Things like the Peloton bike and the workout mirror and all of these technologic advances that are occurring. They've done a follow-up study with that and in the time of COVID, and what they've found is that those technologies are still leading the way. The number of memberships have obviously dropped and the income from gyms, but what is steady over time are trainers. They are the ones that are paving the pathway through the coronavirus to wellness. So Sherif Ultrafit, what do you think about that statement?
Well, I think obviously prior to COVID that gyms are a necessity. They're still a necessity. It's just you have to be very aware of it. And as far as trainers, you need the trainers, whether it's virtually or on one-on-one, because you need an educated professional to take care of your body and guide you through the right path, as opposed to you Googling something or just following something on YouTube and hurting yourself because you don't understand your body mechanisms, etc. So I think trainers are absolutely is what's keeping gyms open for now. Although gyms are hurting during times like this because of people being hesitant to go back and loss of memberships and all that stuff. But man, it's a double-edged sword because you have to exercise. You got to stay healthy. You got to keep your health in shape in order to survive crazy times like this. And it just becomes a matter of how you approach it. And honestly, right now, with the way our world is, I think virtual training and very small group training, like small studios, is the way to go. Stay out of all the big gyms, stay out of populated areas. If you're able, it's a luxury to have a one-on-one trainer, right? So if you're able to afford that, that's great. If not, you can manage to get like 3 or 4 of your buddies and do a small group trainings to cut down the cost a little bit, or you could even go to like online training, which is even cheaper than that. And if you're able to remain disciplined and consistent on your own, it should be just as good, right? And you're not risking your health every time you work out. And if you're doing it at home, you don't have to touch anybody.
Exactly. You're touching your own equipment.
Right.
So,
but it's interesting. I wonder, have you checked those numbers early 2020s, or these statistics were prior to COVID, correct? As
prior.
You mentioned. So I wonder if those numbers went down now. And if they did, how drastic?
So I will say that when I did return to the gym for the couple of weeks that I went back, at the beginning, you know, I actually was going with Sherif Ultrafit a couple of times. At the beginning, the gym seemed a little empty, didn't it?
Yes.
And the gym that I go to, which I won't say the name of the gym, but it started to get a little packed. And now if I go, if I was to choose to go during peak time, there's no way you're 6 feet apart. There's none. And in fact, studies are showing that 6 feet apart might not be actually enough in the gym. They're now saying that possibly 12 to 15 feet apart would be better in the gym, because with a lot of new research coming out showing that it's a strong possibility that this is airborne in enclosed spaces, you know, 6 feet is not that much, you know, 12 to 15 feet is where they want to be. But there are other studies, like there was a study done in Norway, and the Norway study showed that for the most part, there wasn't that much transmission in the gym. The thing about that study that I'm interested in is how many of those people that were in that study actually had COVID in Norway versus some space that's a hotspot like here in South Florida, Texas, you know, Arizona, California. These places are hotspots. We don't know how many people, you know, if there's 100 people in the gym, who's to say 50 of those people don't have it? So, you know, that's part of the reason why I decided not to go back, because you don't have a letter on you saying C for COVID. And let's also face it, you know, when you and I, so funny story.
That would be discrimination, sir.
It would be discrimination. Funny story. Sherif Ultrafit and I went to the gym about a month ago, and we're in the gym, and I'll take the L for this one. I did forget to wipe down my machine after I was done. My bad. My bad. But here's the funny thing about it. Where we were going to the gym, it was not required. In this county, it was not required to wear a mask. So I heard a guy murmur underneath his breath. So I said, "Excuse me, what did you say?" And he was just like, "Oh, you didn't wipe down the equipment. You know, it was a pandemic going on." Here's the irony behind that. He didn't have on a mask. So I said to him, I don't know if you know this, but it's a respiratory illness. Once again, was I in the wrong because I didn't wipe down the machine? Yes, I was. But all he had to say is, "Dude, you didn't wipe down the machine." I'd have said, "My bad, let me wipe down the machine." But it's a respiratory illness. So I think if you are going to choose to go to a gym, just do what you're supposed to do. Wear a mask.
Yeah, they have actually studied viral cultures too, whether wiping down the machine does defeat viruses. So they did a study where they wiped down stuff, checked everything for viruses, right? We were talking about bacteria before.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're talking about viruses, totally different animal. And then they cultured things after they had wiped it down with a standard alcohol-based wipe. And they found there was no difference in the amount or type of viruses on those gym equipments before and after wiping down with alcohol.
So you know what that means?
Oh.
That means I didn't have to wipe it down.
So all these bottles out there and everybody wiping down, that's pointless.
Well, you know, coronavirus is not the virus that they were isolating. This was before coronavirus study, and alcohol can kill coronavirus. It doesn't kill all types of viruses. But if you want to extrapolate that data, you know, maybe it's not making as big of a difference as we think it is.
I think it has a lot to do with peace of mind, though. Something about it makes you feel a little bit better to know that,
Sure.
hey, listen, they're trying.
Absolutely.
And also, you'd much rather get on a bench that smells like, you know, pine than somebody else's sweat.
That's true.
So maybe I should have wiped it down.
On the topic of sweat, Sherif Ultrafit had kind of hit on one of the most disgusting places that you can visit in a gym, which is where you sweat the most.
A
And that's
sauna.
the sauna.
That's my favorite place of the gym, believe it or not.
I love the sauna too. And but they are disgusting. Alaska
So
had a
filthy.
major outbreak of like MRSA infections and bacteria. They were able to trace it back to some of their gyms. And when they swabbed the surfaces, the sauna was teeming with it. And so I'm not saying don't be afraid of your sauna, but you need to take precautions, right? So just put something down that's clean on the surface. Don't touch the surfaces that everybody else had been sitting on, or clean it if you're able to. Yeah.
So in closing in the gym comments, I'm going to ask you three. If you were in the gym, owned the gym, or worked at a gym, what do you envision would help the situation in gyms? I know that there are certain workout studios, like I've seen a couple in California, where they've actually built like workout pods. You know, of course, that's not something that can be done at every gym, but you know, that's an idea. What do you guys see as possibly something that can be done so that we can keep going to the gym and keep gyms open?
Honestly, I think people have to be more aware of what they're doing. They need to be more respectful of other people, clean their equipment. Don't exchange so much equipment. Like you said, most studios at least now have designated stations per client, so you don't cross over and use everybody's dumbbells and kettlebells. So everybody pretty much have their own equipment that they use for the class. But I think it's going to take clients to realize that they need to be more careful, that they should watch out for other and not just care about themselves. You know, like if you don't care about getting sick, you're going to get somebody else contaminated, and they could get their elderly mother or grandmother sick and they can die just because you're young and healthy and it's not going to affect you. That doesn't mean you're not making contact with other random people, not necessarily hand to hand, but you touch that bench that they touch 5 minutes after you, that's making contact, really. So just be aware of the times we're in, and be courteous, and just treat things the way you want to be treated. Really, just be a good human being. Don't spread the disease. We need those gyms.
Yeah, I think that you know, the biggest aspect, you can only do so much within the gym. Gym owners, people that work at gyms, are not trained medical professionals, and so you can only do what information is being imparted to you. So I think forming camaraderie across the lines between the wellness world and the healthcare world is the key to success. Both of us putting our brains together, as we do here at Maximal Being, you know, and breaching those lines to come up with solutions that are based upon medical evidence, because there are a lot of mixed messages out there. I think taking those precautions, wearing a mask while you're in the gym, regardless of whether people are around you or not, you need to do that. It is a respiratory illness, as RN Graham had mentioned. Maintaining social distance. If you can't maintain social distance in your gym, you do not need to have that gym open, and you should not. That's really reckless. Wiping down the surfaces can help somewhat, especially with pathogenic bacteria, maybe not as much with viruses. But the most important point that I am worried about is not what people are doing in the gym, it's what they're doing outside of the gym. And people need to take the responsibility to take care of themselves and others. And like Sherif Ultrafit mentioned, be mindful of other people outside of the gym as well, because whatever you're doing outside, you're going to bring into the gym. Bob?
Well said, and I have to echo what you guys are saying with the personal accountability. I feel like this whole pandemic wouldn't even have been as widespread if people were just more responsible for themselves and actually were a little bit more empathetic to the situation. As far as the gym specifically goes, I'm not well versed in what precautions can be done, but at the same time, I would prefer to see people doing temperature checks before you get in, making sure people are healthy and not feeling any symptoms of being sick, because if we have to rely on people to be accountable for themselves, we're going to be in this forever. So the gym, if we can move some stuff to open air, whatever you can do to work out in the parking lot, if it's a type of gym where that could happen, move some equipment outside, move some inside, spread things out as much as possible, like you guys are saying. Just all the obvious precautions that can be taken for COVID can be applied inside of a gym as well.
I'm going to echo the exact same things that all you guys are saying as well. Starting with number one, if you are feeling sick, if you have a cough, runny nose, shortness of breath, listen, that workout can wait. Because number one, you need to be at home resting, taking care of yourself. Number two, there is a possibility that you may have been exposed and you might be exposing other people. So that's number one. Number two, I also agree there should be temperature checks, even though I will be the first to tell you that these temporal thermometers, they're not always the most accurate thing. So once again, if you're feeling feverish, don't wait to the gym to get your temperature checked. Pop a thermometer in your mouth at home. If it reads a little high, stay home. Figure out a workout you can do at home if you must work out. Second, I agree with moving things outside, if possible, especially at the studios like the ones that Sherif Ultrafit works at. If you can move these things outside, move them outside. Down here in South Florida, it's a little hot. Maybe these gyms should invest in some of these bigger fans that, with the misters. Hey, listen, go check out the Rogue website. If you're a small gym, they do have those. Stuff like that. Anything that we can do so that we can continue working out and we can continue the camaraderie of working out. Sherif Ultrafit said something very interesting before. Listen, the way we can help to defeat this disease, this virus, is by being healthy. So we want to be able to hit the gyms or possibly build a home gym. It's important that we stay healthy. It's important that we stay fit. So do we have any listener mail?
Yeah, the first question comes from Amy. She asks the group, if you had 15 minutes and could only do one type of exercise, what would it be and why? I think I'm going to give this one to Bob to start off.
If I had 15 minutes, I would do repeat deadlifts. There is not a single exercise, and I'm fortunate enough, like I said, to have a home gym. But you can supplement the weight any other way you want to. But deadlifts, there's absolutely, to me, nothing that hits your entire body as well as a deadlift does. And you just feel strong doing them. If you need an ego boost, put some weight on there. You're feeling good afterwards. So that's the one for me. I'll pass it over to RN Graham on that. What do you think?
Well, since you stole mine, I'm gonna go with standing preacher or standing shoulder press. Same thing. It's it is real full body if you're doing it properly, and it does hit your back, shoulders, and it does engage your legs as well. So since you stole the obvious to me best one, which would be deadlifts, I'm going to go with standing shoulder press. Doc Mark?
Yeah, I'm gonna go for a compound movement. I'm gonna go for a clean and jerk or hang clean. Not only does it help you with building strength, it works on your mobility, right? And you're working your full body, right? You're getting usually into a squat position to receive the bar. You know, if you want to press it above your head, you're working your shoulders, you're working your core, you're working your back, and it jacks your heart rate up to that max. So I'm gonna go with that. Sherif, Ultrafit, what are you gonna do?
So I guess we're picking just one exercise. I thought it was 15 minutes.
Ah,
Good point.
15 minutes, one
That's
exercise.
for 15 minutes and shoulder presses for 15 minutes. My gosh,
Good
you guys are animals. So I guess if I have to pick one exercise, I would pick a burpee. Similar reasons, right? You're working your entire body, your legs, your core, your shoulders, your chest. You're hitting everything. It's high intensity. You're also working on your cardio. You're elevating your heart rate. So if it was only one exercise, it would be always a burpee for me. You're hitting everything at once.
and you're working your pain receptors.
Yes, for sure. And it's mental too. Like all these are mental for sure. Especially if you're doing them for 15 minutes. My God, burpees for 15 minutes. Yes.
Sounds torturous.
All right, next piece of listener mail is from Trey, and he asks, should I take digestive enzymes to improve my performance and digestion? Can you guys see my face?
I was going to say, that's a medical question. You should start it off, Dr. Mark.
Oh, his face says it all right there. Listen, he's the expert with this. So, yeah, what do you think?
Elaborate, please.
Yeah.
I think I want a bad cleanup on this one, though. So,
Okay.
have you guys ever taken digestive enzymes or protein supplements that have them mixed in there as a part of your training regimen? Because there are a lot of products out there.
No.
I have eaten fiber.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, the short answer for me is I create digestive enzymes in my body. The moment I put a piece of food in my mouth, the digestive enzymes in my mouth are already working. Then they go down into my system, and I have a thing called a pancreas, which also works. Thank you. And that will release digestive enzymes, which will then continue to break down my food. So, no, I will not take them.
That was a short answer.
That was no.
Yeah, so without knowing Trey's, anatomic variations, has he had a pancreatic surgery or resection? This is most of what I do is this pancreas sort of work. If you've had pancreas surgery, if you have a problem with your pancreas, you should take digestive enzymes. If you do not, you should not take digestive enzymes. They will not harm you, but they will not help you, and you're wasting your money. Your body makes a lot of enzymes, as R.N. Graham had discussed. You make 500 cc's, that's half a liter of saliva every day. Wow. Your stomach makes 1.5 liters of stomach acid that helps to break down protein and fat. Your pancreas makes 1.5 liters, and your bile duct and liver and gallbladder, if you have one, make about 2 liters of bile, all to break down stuff. Your body is exceptionally capable and adaptive at making these changes. There are people out there that have these products because they're fancy and they're sexy, and people think that their bowel movements are better or that they're absorbing more of their protein, but your intestine, which we have a long length of, is perfectly capable of absorbing all the protein that you put in your body. And in fact, most people just aren't eating enough protein is the problem. I listened to a podcast recently that was so bro, I had to turn it off when I was midway through, where they had the guy that owns a supplement company that makes one of these products, and he was trying to explain to the listeners about why they need to take digestive enzymes as a part of their fitness regimen. Show me the literature. I pulled some articles. The last article I found was in 2006. It was a study of 20 patients. 10 of them got the enzymes, 10 of them just got protein. Guess what they found? There's no difference between the two groups. And you know why there are no studies since 2006? It doesn't work. So Just let your body do the rest. Eat real food, please, and
Eat real
enough protein.
food.
Yeah. So no Trey.
So that closes it out. Another podcast in the book here with Maximal Being. So, as usual, Sherif Ultrafit, tell them where we can find you.
Yes, you guys can find me on Instagram at Sherif Ultrafit, or you can find me on Facebook at Sherif AFTERLIFE, and also on the Maximal Being website.
And that's Sherif, Sherif.
Correct, like sheriff with one F.
Find Aaron Graham and myself at maximalbeing.com. If you want to read more on any of these topics, head to maximalbeing.com/learn. If you want to purchase a custom fitness, nutrition, or gut health plan, we are here for you. We have growing clients and are excited to talk to all of you. You can leave us a voicemail through our SpeakPipe. You can send us an email at team@maximalbeing.com. That's all one word. And follow us on social media. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button to this podcast and give us some comments and reach out to us. We would love to answer your questions on air. It was great talking with you guys.
Thanks for having
Pleasure,
me.
gentlemen.
Being here.
Thank you, guys. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Take care.